Where has MotoMan gone off to this time? Probably complaining yet again about my hair mucking up his precious tartan seats. Or even more dreadful, driving one of those pitiful excuses for a canine wagon I can't fit in. I thought I was supposed to be man's best friend.
Hi, buddy. I've got a surprise I think you're gonna like.
A German estate. So unlike you, promising old chap, but don't bring the two-legged female that won't clean up after me.
Ready, buddy? So I know it doesn't look like it, but Beano and I, we have been very excited about this moment because it's forbidden fruit, if we're honest. We got the E63S for many years, then Porsche gave us like some derivation of the Panamera, which is not really a station wagon, but I kind of think it is. And then finally, what do you think, buddy? Oh yeah, he doesn't like the Audi very much, but we did get the Audi. We tried him in the Audi. And then finally, BMW decided to join the fray. Now, there's a difference here. This, yes, it's a very fast. Well, I know, I'm trying to tell him. It's more than 600 horsepower. That's what he wants you to know. That's why he didn't like the Audi. He didn't have enough horsepower for him. I know. Gesundheit, buddy. It has 717 horsepower, but not just from a twin turbocharged V8 4.4 we've seen in other BMWs. I know, that's a good paw. It's a very good paw. It's a plug-in hybrid. So, electric motor, battery, it goes, 25 miles on full electric range, but really it's about the instantaneous torque of that vehicle, which is great, right? But I know this is the point where he stands up and he doesn't like. It's heavy. As we learned in our M5 sedan episode, this is 1,300 pounds heavier than any other car that it competes with because of all that complexity. So obviously we just lost his attention because he just doesn't like mass, which means I think we're gonna have to go drive it. You know that old saying, be careful what you wish for because you will indeed get it. That sort of applies here, at least to one very specific aspect of something you and I have been praying for years in this country. 5,530 pounds, or depending on express your weights and measures, 2,508 kilograms. Yes, if you are wondering, is that more than the sedan? It is, by 140 pounds. Now that we have the pleasantries, or shall I say the unpleasantries, out of the way. Oh my God! Oh, that hurt my head. The car is like a 911 Turbo S, where it like picks itself up, rotates the wheels, one complete revolution, and then goes. God, that was fun. But then, wow, this is a big car. You sit behind the wheel of this thing and do something like that, even just driving it around town, over the sedan, you feel this is bigger. It delivers power kind of the same way, but it feels muted because you can't help but escape the size of this thing. Yeah, of course, there's the science of the roof is longer and there's weight higher in the car. That's probably where the 140 pounds comes from. It's exactly where you don't want it, which is why it feels more cumbersome going down the road. I can't help but repeat myself. This is a massive car. It feels like Noah's Ark on meth. Jesus, this thing is fast.
I've agreed to do this next bit in exchange for nibbles and walkies.
So Beano and I were having a bit of it. I know we're having a disagreement. I know, thank you for the kiss. Thank you for the, I know it's so nice to kiss. Thank you so much. But I still disagree with you. He doesn't like the design of this, and I do. Because I know, I think it fixes some of the problems of the current 5 Series. That whole C-pillar we agree about, I know we don't like that, do we? I know, thank you for the kisses. It's so nice of you. I know. But this, with a D-pillar, with a thick D-pillar, it looks dramatic again, right? But where we disagree, he says, thick pillars or not, there's no room for a back. I know. It's more of a sport wagon. Yes, that's very nice of you. So to put him in this vehicle, you need to put the seat down. So, is it practical? No.
What a scandal of duplicity. MotoMan, I demand to use the loo.
Okay, so now that you've shared our dirty laundry with everybody, what exactly do we agree on?
You owe me nibbles.
We're gonna show you. So this may be our hero car of sorts, but there's a catch. You see, this is a Swiss Army knife. And being a Swiss Army knife, it can do a lot of things. However, some of those aspects are compromised. That's why Beano, he wanted to present a counterpoint, shall we say. You see, effectively, what's in there is a combination of this. So this could be a stand-in for AMGs, 911s, whatever you want, combined with something like this, also a stand-in. This could be an SUV. But really, the catch here is one can have a combination of these two that do their very intended jobs better than what that can do for potentially less money. We'll pick up this part of the conversation later.
Finally, take me to the nearest fire hydrant.
Like the sedan, as well as some M3s and M4s nowadays, and of course E63Ss for many years now, we can cut off the torque to the front wheels in this an all-wheel drive system. I've programmed it over here. You can fiddle with it over here. And it's not a huge difference. Like in an A63S, and the first time they introduced this in an M5, you're like, wow, it's a difference. Because you're not fighting the wheels to do two different things at the same time, the front wheels when it noised out. Here, there is a slight difference, but I'm guessing it's muted because of the mass of the car, and where the mass is. And that's really the headline of driving this thing. It's just, you can't get around how big it feels. Not just weight, how big it feels. This feels like a station wagon from back in the day. Not an estate, like an American station wagon in heft. Now, a fascinating aspect about very complex cars like this, you can program them much like intercontinental ballistic missiles. Here, it's something like 10 different parameters that change. And like the sedan, the dampers can be changed. There are 3 different settings. The highest setting, it's not painful, it's not jarring, it's just highly unpleasant. Like, you don't want to be behind the wheel of this thing. It makes the car not fun to drive. Like, it's too much with your body moving around, to the point where the only way to push this thing, even on roads like this, is to be in the comfort setting, which brings us to the reality of this whole experience. This sports sedan that's trying to be more practical, it's not a sports sedan, it's not even a GT car. I don't mean like Porsche GT car, I mean like Gran Turismo. It's on the other side of a GT car. Best way to put it, it's GT car adjacent. So apparently all the excitement makes a certain someone rather tired, so while he's snoozing on the job, let's you and I play a modified round of our favorite game, the options game. This, as you can imagine, not cheap. It is more expensive than the base M5 sedan by $2,000, $121,500. There's a couple of choice options here, but there really aren't many options on offer for any M5. So this one's got the carbon ceramic rotors, which is the most expensive option, $8,500. And then it has that $2,500 like programming package, which raises the VMAX from 155 to something over 180. You can't get like a light wood trim on the inside. They make it, I know, I want the lighter wood too. There's only like a darker wood, and there's this carbon fiber here. It's $300. I think they need to go back to the color and trim department, because otherwise the interior is unique, especially with the orange. I probably would have gone with a saddle. I know, you don't like the orange.
I have dichromatic vision, you doddering old fool.
Well, apparently the interior really isn't a strong suit for him. I kind of like the orange, but there is like a saddle where you see the orange. That's probably a better choice. And then you bought a hybrid, right? It's a plug-in hybrid, so you could drive it as an electric vehicle. But unfortunately, according to the US government, you still must be punished because you bought a fast hybrid. $2,600, destination handling, $1,175 on Dingolfing Deutschland, which brings this to $140,775. Yes, an expensive car. But that brings us back to his counterpoint of the two vehicles outside. You see, you look at these things and you're saying, I really have to manage $140,000. How do I retain that? So we looked into the retention of value of some of its competitors, because this is the first time we get an M5 wagon in the US like through normal channels. And apparently, when one opts for a fast station wagon, the resale is significantly higher than the sedans. That's like the headline. And there we looked at some contemporaries, like an RS6, for example. Those things were about $120,000 in the base price. The Mercedes E63S, when it still was sold here, they're probably going to replace it. They were also around $120,000. What are they worth today? Believe it or not, they're anywhere between like 80 and about 120, and it's all a big function of miles. Cars that have like 20,000 miles, they're like 90 grand for an RS6, 80 grand for the Mercedes. Now contrast that with a fast sedan, something like this, an E63S, but not the wagon. That only retains about 65% of its value, and even with low miles, doesn't get anywhere close to what the wagon resale is. So one strong argument in favor of the Swiss Army knife, which dynamically might not be as sharp as the two different knives, the resale value on the one may be better than the two. So let's you and I downshift into electric mode and take Mr. Beano for a ride around town here. That is about the best mode for him, for at least a dog that size. He's what, 50, 60 pounds, something like that. It's definitely gonna put the seat down. But really the demonstration here is the electric mode. This plug-in hybrid, we've discussed this throughout the entire episode. It says 25 miles of range, according to the US EPA. I've actually done significantly better than that. I've done something like 35 miles of range, but that's not really the benefit here. The benefit, the folks at BMW chose to switch on the charging as you drive.
Slow down, old man. This certainly is no Rolls.
Now, why is this all fascinating? Much faster charging. So yesterday, we took the car down to Newport Beach. It was about 30, 35 miles from here. And obviously got on the freeway, put it into the gas mode, the E-control mode, and I started with 0 miles of range left in like the EV tank. Getting off 30 miles later, I had about half of the EV mile range back and was able to make it to the marina totally on electric range. So in other words, it's usable charging while you're driving the car.
Dear man, while I appreciate your role as my washroom attendant, it's hotter than a Singaporean summer back here. How about a spot of fresh air?
So you're just gonna sit there and look cute at precisely the point that we have to deliver the tough love. Fine, I'll do it. We absolutely want to love this. We really do, but we just can't. And it's exactly the reason why you think we can't love it. It weighs too much. This is peak, like government regulators meddling with the business of engineering cars. Like that Cadillac outside we talked about earlier, that is almost 1,400 pounds less than this, runs rings around this dynamically. And now I say the following as a guy that was in the tech world for 15 years and still a tech geek. This is crying out for bleeding edge technology. Like if you want the two propulsion systems, I get it, but maybe you shelve this idea or this packaging until such point that you have like solid state batteries or some sort of like light weighting that could make this work and be the same weight as cars like that outside. But in its current guise, I just can't. The two of us, we would be the two options instead of the Swiss Army knife. But I'm just one man, or one man and one dog. So we turn the episode around to you guys to opine in the comments below, or via our social media, MotoManTV all one word, MotoManTV all one word. Now, before you and I part ways for the day, a little bit behind the scenes on Mr. Beano here. I would love to tell you that I am his rescue, but sadly that is not the case. You may know his rescue, Aaron Robinson. He is at Haggerty, longtime car and driver, and his lovely wife, Tina. You see, we've been good friends for a while, and they're very kind to let me abscond with their dog a couple times a week to go for a walk. And he and I were talking just last week, and he was saying, you know, do you have a station wagon coming soon? Because I'd love to basically be the front man of that episode. So that's how we got here today. So with that, a huge thank you to Aaron and Tina for loaning me Beano here, and perhaps I could borrow your vacuum cleaner. Until I see you in the next episode, bis später. Oh, Beano. Oh my God, he farted. Beano, dude, now I know why they call you Beano. Fuck, Beano, you stink. So you say you want a dog. So you say it's unconditional love. Let me give you an example of unconditional love. We're trying to get takes in between the airplanes going overhead, and at precisely the point that it gets quiet, that's when he drops, oh my God, the worst stink bomb on the planet. If that is not true love, I don't know what is.